for cities in transition is a simple concept. And that concept is that one divided society is in the best position to help another. That they bond and identify with their experiences in ways in which normal societies or cities can never do. Each year, one city will host all the other cities so it can explore in depth where that country was, where it is now, and where it is going to. But the most important part of it is that we're not at a conference here in Derry-Londonderry. We're part of an ongoing process.
Suggestion for moving forward. The Forum Secretariat through the initial discussions in Boston in 2009 and then the amazingly rich and exciting forum gathering in Kosovo last May, about which you've heard, and I'm sure we'll hear more from our Kosovo delegates about the implementation of the goodwill and the sharing and the movement forward.
I've participated in last year's conference, and it was inspirational in the sense that when you listen to other people talking about what they do amidst conflict and in cities where they're either in transition from conflict or in conflict situations, you get inspired by ideas, and this is basically my ultimate goal.
What I'm trying to get from the conference is to see how do people engage their communities more, how do you engage the youth organization, how do you engage women organizations, how do you engage actually everyone in the community to tackle problems that the local people face on a daily basis.
The most positive thing of all, I think, has been the debate amongst the actual delegates in the breakout rooms to actually discuss the topics that have been put on the table, and that process I found very enjoyable, very stretching. Well, for me the conference is all about actions. It's all about positive, practical steps that come out of the conference. It's very important to me that people pledge to actually deliver upon actions as part of the process.
And you start seeing people exchanging contacts and saying, well, maybe you could come to my city and maybe we could invite the people from North Cyprus because I was talking to them the other day, and maybe the Kosovans could add something, and that's when it takes off. The forum is just an enabler. The event we have every year for 4 days is just a staging post in creating a web of contacts, relationships, and underneath it all, change.
Now, during the workshops, during the formal and informal talks, we just came together with a friend from Nicosia. We just came to some ideas after the workshop that we had with women. And we are going to do some exchange program with women from Nicosia and women from Mitrovica.
Throughout all our panel discussions, workshops, site visits, plenaries, we've had extensive participation and communication from all delegates. They have all found it very useful.
In Derry, the school is definitely a very, very important point, a meeting point. And the more people from different backgrounds, young people from different backgrounds come together, learn together, it's clear that there is a correlation between that. and how they grow up in future and how tolerant they become.
The good thing about this forum is that it's an opportunity for people to share experiences and to have, you know, a boost of hope. Because whenever you're working in a country where there is conflict or you're in the process of reconciliation, it's very tiring because it's a very slow process. So bringing all these experiences together, it creates a solidarity, a kind of dynamic and energy that you can go back home and continue working.
This afternoon, when the cities reconvene at the final plenary session, each city has been given the opportunity to put together a project which will help itself or which will help another city develop, strengthen peace and reconciliation between them or among them. That will be completed before the next conference is held in Kirkuk in 2012.
The pledge made jointly by Belfast and Derry for a Kosovo police exchange. Now I'll ask Chris just to briefly give us some additional information, because he did speak yesterday about it, but I'll just hand over to Chris to give us a little bit more detail. Thanks.
That pledge was to host a training programme for the Kosovo Police Service, both in Belfast and in Derry-Londonderry here in the city. So what did we do? Well, we invited 10 Kosovo police officers. That was made up of 5 Kosovo Serb and 5 Kosovo and Albanian police officers to come and visit us here in Northern Ireland. We drew up a programme which was very much an opportunity for us to showcase some of the work that we do, and that included things such as community engagement work, how we police public disorder, anti-corruption techniques, how we deal with domestic violence, and most importantly, some of the partnership work that we do with the local community representatives and local politicians to help us police interface violence.
And thank you, Chris, for mentioning with the police exchange program. I just want exactly to repeat what the spokesperson who was here, who said to me after I have been kind of updated from the visit. He just said, definitely we are working very hard to bring the police officers back to Mitrovica, because we have gained a lot. And not only because they have seen the city and they have felt all these difficulties, but they also gained some concrete tactics and methods that the police here are working.
We were so much touched and affected by all the problems of the cities, and especially the one in Kaduna, where Muslims and Christians have all these kinds of conflict. Pastor James has inspired this idea, and my colleague Mahmoud has presented it. We are offering to kick off programs where we can get people from Kaduna, Muslims and Christians, to come to Ramallah and visit and see how Muslims and Christians in Ramallah live side by side for years with no problems whatsoever, or we can visit Kaduna and talk to the people there and hope we might be able to help.
Already our friends from Beirut mentioned, and we invite everybody, all the cities, to participate if possible in organizing a film festival for 1 week, for 5 days. The idea is that we will present films or documentaries that really promote peace and reconciliation in our respective societies.
I would like to participate actively in the film festival as proposed by our brothers and sisters from Nicosia. We also have offered, having been in the work of uniting the city of Kaduna for 16 years, that the Kaduna people would like to share ideas with people who are willing to probably pick 1 or 2 things from the model of Kaduna while within the year. So we are open to meeting with the people of the Middle East.
Listening to you all, enunciate your commitments, what you will do in the next year. In many ways has been inspirational, but I'll come back to that in a minute. One thing we have overlooked, I think, is the beautiful poster and the peace bridge across that poster. That peace bridge will be opened next month and will signify one more closure in the process of healing in Derry. That said, I will bring this conference to an end. All of your participation, your endurance, because there was very little free time. And we made the free time proportional to the amount of money it cost to hold the conference. Inverse proportionality. You showed tremendous endurance, tremendous sense of wanting to connect with each other. And now we must simply take that wanting and that aspiration and continue to turn it into realities. This is not, I said at the beginning, a conference. Rather, we should call it a gathering. And the gathering is a continuous process.
It's the first forum for me to attend. I found it very fruitful. It's going to have very great results actually. The information that we're gaining from the experiences of other people, of other cities, or in the help, in the mutual aid that we're going to give each other in terms of the cities helping each other.
The vision, first and foremost, the relationships that were developed last year in Mitrovica have been consolidated and built upon, and new relationships and friendships have been formed. There's some very practical outworkings and outcomes which have been announced here today, such as different exchange visits and study visits. There's some less practical ones, but nonetheless important, such as some research studies which are going to be carried out, and just some information exchanges. So I think it has been a very successful conference, and I think that the forum will continue to address division.